Star Wars 7x7 episode 2618. All right, we finally got the announcement. Last Call is coming on September 15th. That is part 2 of the Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Oculus VR Quest Star Wars game, and we got more details. In fact, actually, the StarWars.com story had some details, but the ILM story had a lot more. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, just to give you the quick refresher, is the second VR situation released by ILMxLAB for the Oculus Quest, and it is a story where you get to, go on a mission and you get to experience tales as told by the bartender Cecil Stack, and that guy is voiced by Bobby Moynihan, of course. So, there's this mission that you get to go on, and that's great. And what is particularly key about that first part of the Galaxy's Edge is that one of the tales is a tale called Temple of Darkness, and it takes place within the High Republic timeline. And that mission, just to summarize, there's an ancient Sith runestone that a Padawan and her master bring to a Jedi Order temple on Batuu, and this Padawan is 80 Sun Z, and there's a story involved around it where Yoda has to come help, and we haven't talked about it yet on the show, but in due course. Anyway, so two things about Last Call tie into this story. First of all, there is a second story called The Secret Garden, or The Sacred Garden, excuse me, where Adi Sun Z features in another tale. This is a new tale in Last Call, and that's one of the things that is in the ILMxLAB story about the release of this final gameplay trailer and the news that it's coming out on September 15th. Star Wars story doesn't have that information, and in this particular story, The Sacred Garden, there's going to be some, temple training and lightsaber training happening, and it takes place many years after the events of Temple of Darkness. So that's one tie-in to the first part of Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. The other tie-in part seems to be with the Doc Ondar story. So as we've talked about on the show before, you're being hired by Doc Ondar to go recover a certain artifact, you as the droid repair technician character. Well, it sure seems like the artifact that you're being hired to get is the ancient Sith runestone that's stored off in this temple, because it was sealed away at the end of that tale, and it looks like that's what you're being sent after. And that's the main mission of the Last Call release. Now, I gotta say that's actually also a bit familiar, and so I had to go double check, seeking out an artifact in ruins on Batuu. Well, it turns out that there was a similar plot line that happened in Black Spire, which is the novel by Delilah Dawson, and actually Galaxy's Edge: Black Spire, which is also a bit of a prequel in a way to The Rise of Skywalker, because it takes place in between the events of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and it is a sequel to her Phasma novel as well. And in that novel, among other things, Oga Gera, who runs the main cantina and who is a bit of a crime lord herself, grabs hold of Vi Marati and gets a bunch of her stuff and says, oh, you can have it back when you recover this artifact for me. And the artifact happens to be in the Black Spire ruins, which are, the caverns that eventually the Resistance sets up a base within, and then that's where you get to check them out for the Rise of the Resistance event and ride at Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Confused yet? Don't worry, I'll dial it back and say it just so happens that in this Last Call thing, which is what we're talking about here in the first place, the Doc Ondar mission to have you get an artifact made me think that, oh yeah, we've done this before, and there is a similar kind of artifact mission in Black Spire by Delilah Dawson, but it's definitely a different mission entirely, and the situation may be playing into the Temple of Darkness tale from the first part of Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. So hopefully that simplifies it a little more. And there is one other tale that gets told, and that's the Bounty of Boggs Triff. And in that story, you get to play as IG-88. Yeah, and you're having a mission on Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moon. And the person voicing Riz Darby, actually, I thought for a moment it was Taika Waititi because the voice that you hear in this gameplay trailer actually sounds a little bit like Taika Waititi, but yeah, no, it is not. But Anthony Daniels is back to voice C-3PO, and we also have Jim Cummings back to voice Hondo Ohnaka. So yeah, there's definitely some familiar voice talent appearing here as well. And so that's the scoop. Last Call is coming in just a couple of weeks. September 15th it releases, and it's going to be, I think, like $10 basically, or if you get the whole Tales from the Galaxy's Edge experience, it's $35 altogether if you happen to have the VR, of course, in the first place. And if you don't, you know, you can always check out YouTube as well, because there are people who are posting their walkthroughs on there as well. So, you know, you don't have to miss out, that's for sure. And that's what I've got for you for the show today. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.